Hello, everybody, and welcome to part 3 of our Lords and Villains playthrough. Thank you to anybody who's been watching through this series. I'm, again, really hoping that I find some sort of audience on this platform. We'll find out. Again, let me know in the comments if you guys are watching. So in our first video, we managed to get our first 3 families set up: our farming family, our foraging family, and our fishing family. In our second video, we started getting our royal family, our... I keep saying royal family, but I should be saying demesne is the verbiage that the game chooses here, because I think it actually is distinct from the royal family to whom you would pay taxes playing with were we playing with that like option turned on, say like the royalty here. So I'm gonna try to say demesne. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'm just gonna keep saying royals and just know that I'm probably using it wrong. But yeah, so we got them set up with their manor, their cottage, their barracks, their kitchen, and their warehouse over here. We are still waiting for our laborers to move all of the stuff from our old warehouse over here to the new one. I don't want to delete this zone until they do that, because as long as the stuff is in this zone, I own it. Like, rather, the Bridgertons, my family owns it. And I'm sure they'll continue to own it if I delete the zone, but just out of an abundance of caution, I'm going to go ahead and leave it there. And during the second video, we also got our a public area set up. And in fact, I'm just going to go ahead and just make this all one big public area instead of two. A marketplace, a caravan marketplace. We got our inn. Well, we started building our inn. It's the walls and stuff aren't there, but everything else is there, so it's looking pretty good. And we assigned our foraging family to it just because A, they're the closest by, and B, they're the biggest, and C, we don't super need what they're producing right now, so they can manage to spare a few people to run this in. And then we got 2 more farming families down here. So let's go ahead and get the people moving and start making a little more progress on our community here. So the first thing that I want to do is I decided that I want to make these farms just a little bit bigger. I think these are 5x5 squares here of farming soil. So yeah, okay, so that's perfect right there. And let's do another little set right there, because especially for this family, the 7 population family, I feel like they could really manage quite a bit more farmland than they're currently doing. So let's go ahead and actually hold on, edit this zone, drag it over here. Okay, that looks pretty good. So let's go ahead and draw a little extra farming soil right here. Oh, and one thing that I wanted to talk about a little more during this video is trade. So last video, if you remember, I was talking about how a lot of these like professions are going to be really difficult for us to accommodate, like the bakers, for example, because they will need stone blocks to build an oven to produce all the bread and pies and stuff that they're going to make. And in order for us to get the stone blocks, we need to have masons. And in order for us to have masons, we need to have miners. So just getting all the way to a place where we can even build this oven, we need mining and macing already established in our little society here. Plus the oven, to get the dough, we need flour, which comes from the windmill, right? Uses grain to produce flour, and in order to build the windmill structure itself, we're going to need rope. So we need a rope mill and a tailor. So if we want to get a bakery set up, we need a tailor, a rope mill, a windmill, and we also need a mining field and a masonry area. That's 5 separate families that we need before we can make use of a bakery. And that's just a little ridiculous, don't you think? So there is one good way to get around this, and I probably should have done this as soon as we got our caravan marketplace built, but it's only been a few days in game time, I think, so we're going to be fine, is you can trade with the caravan. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here, and so like rope, for example, is something that we're not probably going to have access to for a while, and I'm just going to buy like 50 rope from the caravan. And the way that I'm doing this here is so this, I could buy from the caravan all. This means every time the caravan has rope, I'm just going to buy it. Buy until limit 50 means I'll buy until I have 50 rope, and then I'm going to stop buying from them. So let's say that I buy until I have 50 rope, and then we get like our miners and we give them some rope, I'll buy up from the caravan again until we get to 50. Basically, my family will always try to have 50 rope from the caravan. Or I could buy specific, which is I'm going to buy 50 and then I'm not going to buy any more, right? Even if I start using it. So I'm going to go ahead and hit until limit here and do that. I think a couple of the other resources that we want from the caravan, and a lot of this is coming from trial and error on my part, just knowing what we're going to run into and like when we start building our family stuff that we're not going to have. Like we're definitely going to need some steel rods. So let's go ahead and get those from the caravan. Gold ingot, interestingly, I want to get a few of those because when we build our town hall, and you can even see here, it must have a throne, speaking table, and some chairs for the audience. And if you want to build a throne, you need gems. Maybe it's the speaking table. Plank, throne needs gems. I thought you needed gold for this. Okay, wait, what did we need again? It must have a throne, a speaking table, and chairs. So speaking table, so I guess it's gems. Maybe I'm wrong about the gold ingots. I mean, I'll keep them on the buy list anyways, just in case I'm forgetting something that they're going to come up and we're going to need them. But let's go back here, and I'm not actually sure if gems is even on the list. Let's see. Oh, we're definitely gonna want to get some leather. Because I think that maybe, yeah, no, we'll go with 50. I think that eventually when we do our furnace, the blast furnace for some reason requires leather to build. 8 stone, 1 leather, 1 rope. So let's go ahead and get leather in case we don't have leather working up by the time we get there. We'll just have a little in stock to hand out to them. Let's go back to the trade screen here. So we got leather set up. We got ropes, steel rods. Let's go ahead and there might actually not be. Oh, here we go. Here's gems. Okay, let's buy like 50 gems just so we can have them laying around. And I think that that's probably all we want to get. Oh, we want to get at least I saw somebody post on one of the Steam boards to just like buy 1 painting to stick in your so this one's going to be specific instead of until limit, just to stick in your like nobles, your Desmesne. I keep forgetting how to say that. Demesne. Stick in your Demesne's like manner just so they don't like get because you can see here like they're bored, they're not getting self-expression, and they're disgusted because they're not living in beautiful areas. We're going to up their beauty values eventually over here once we start getting higher tier builders like architects and carpenters. For now, they're just gonna have to. They're gonna have to cry about it, and that's just how it's gonna have to be. And so, sorry, we're going to go back to the trade screen real quick. I just want to make sure that we're not missing anything. What I like to do come down here for the animals, you have this extra tab over here for butchers. So eventually you'll have like butchers in your little area. I just like to sell all my animals to my local butchers for free, because I find that the butchers tend to like run out of money, even though they're like providing a pretty important like resource into the town. And so you can see here like giveaway for free. So when you sell, you could choose sell for market price, sell for custom price, and you can like literally set it here. Sell for market price, you can like slide it, you can give them like a discount here, and this one is just giveaway for free. So I usually just set all the animals to sell to the butchers all for free because I don't have any use for dead animals. Like sometimes like your people will just kind of like randomly slaughter animals, or I guess if they die in your territory, you get ownership over them. I've never really like paid attention to how it works too much, but you'll end up with them just from time to time. And I have no use for them, but the butchers will provide like food into my economy. And so I just like to set up some of these market things before, like obviously we don't have butchers right now, so like this isn't like gonna be doing anything, but when we do, I don't want to have to like I don't want to forget to come in here and click all these buttons, and this is not doing anything now, and it will later, so like we'll just go ahead and just like set that up now. And we can go ahead because I have I have 10 beer barrels, and like I don't need them. Like the royal family won't do anything with beer barrels, so I'm going to sell them into my local economy. I'm just going to sell them at price. I'm not going to give them a discount, but those will eventually end up in the inn, and people will come and like they'll enjoy. They'll have a drink and they'll enjoy. They'll enjoy having a good time with all that. So let's go ahead and like pump the speed up here. So these folks down here are still busy getting themselves set up. Oh, and the one other thing I wanted to talk about is when last episode when we went in here and we went animal management and we sort of pumped up these numbers to say like I want 5 cow and 5 chickens. So currently I have 0 out of 5 cows, right? But I can adjust how many cows I want. 5 chickens and all that stuff. What they're going to do is they're going to either tame them if they just like find them in the wild. Like you could see like this is a sheep. And we can have like these commands, like we can ignore it, we can leash it away, or we can kill it. I believe that like your farmers here who are like needing because like these guys see, they currently have 0 sheep and they need 5 sheep. I believe that they will sometimes just tame animals nearby, but if they don't find them, then they will just buy them from the caravans. And the caravans will show up with animals from time to time. Like, let's see. Yeah, so you can see this belongs to the family of Cleaver, and here's a Zavella Cleaver, who's part of the caravan. So this is a sheep from the caravan. So I wouldn't be surprised if my my folks down here end up buying this sheep from the caravan, assuming that they have money. Let's see. These are the dyers. Let's show the family of the owner and look at their inventory. And they do, look at that. Wow, they got 5 gold. They got plenty of money. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they end up buying that sheep. But time will tell. These villains, they're certainly finicky little folks, and they run on their own. They run on their own time frame sometimes. It looks like also I forgot to include a storefront in these zones right here, these farming zones. So I'm just gonna go ahead and throw one down over here. Like so, for each of these zones. And like I said in the previous video, you want to throw down this marketplace with like public storefronts that anybody can use, because if you ever do build a zone like this and you forget to throw down a storefront, at least they can always go to the marketplace and they can sell their wares there, and they're not just sort of like locked out of like their production isn't like locked out of being like sold into the economy. So it's just good to have because I mean, it just happened to me. Like little things like that will happen, and that's going to be fine. That's why we have these contingencies, redundancies in place. And actually, it looks like I'm going to go ahead and demolish that tree right there because it looks like it's blocking this storefront back here. Yeah, look at that. It's totally blocking it. And you do got to pay attention. Trees will just kind of grow up over time. And sometimes they'll block your things. We're gonna solve that in the future. Because you can place down like these stone paths. You can see that this is actually part of the template that I used for this part of the public area here, included stone pavings. But it requires an architect, so that's not going to happen for quite some time. We'll just leave the construction orders there because if nobody can fulfill them, nothing's going to happen with them. And we won't have to come back and change them later when we finally do get an architect. Speaking of, so the next 2 families that we want to get are probably going to be, in fact, almost certainly going to be a carpenter and a tailor. And I would like to get those families as soon as possible. In fact, I would like to get them so soon that I would be maybe willing to request a family for them. Unfortunately, we spent most of our favorite points on one of our new farming families. And look at that. There's a tailor right here. 7 people. 55 points. If we just had a few more points. That is one thing I wish that you could manipulate this favor point situation, or like supplement it with money or something in this game. Because I would really, really like to take this tailoring family, and look at this. If we spend our own favor points, if we look at that. Even if we go down to like the lowest level, we can't afford like to do it custom, and that would be even more expensive. Actually, it would be a little less expensive. But you can see this is it's gone now, but it was a 7-pop tailoring family. So that would have been a 3 generation, and it was level 2, I think. So that would have been like closer to a 98 cost tailoring family that we would have been getting. I think that they're discounted up here. Like you can even see, like, look at this. This is a carpentry family. So if we want to like So 7 pop, that's going to be 3 generations, and level 4 carpentry. Like if we want to like pop that in, like that'd normally be like 118 cost family, and they're giving it away for 75. So you do want to keep an eye on these families up here because you do get a pretty deep discount. Like what is that? That's a more than a 25%. That's more than a 25% discount for sure on that family there. Now let's take a look over here. So we have jewel crafters. Now let's think about this. Let's decide later. So jewel crafters aren't your normal peasants. We haven't talked about this yet, but the artisans are like special people, like special families who generally require a higher like degree of living. What's the word? Standard of living than the rest of your peasants. Like they expect like they're kind of like your noble family where they expect like better food and nicer buildings and stuff, but they produce sort of better things. Now we can already see here, just mousing over it, that the jewel crafting workshop consumes gem ore, bronze ingots, and like all these ingots and rods and stuff. And I mean, I'm sure that we can't support that, but like just to check, like, so where does gem ore come from? Let's see if we can try to figure that out. My first guess would be, so it's not listed in the mining here, right? There are other kinds of ore that they're going to use. Maybe the furnace? I'm actually not even sure where gem ore would come from. Maybe the forge? No. Interesting. Jewelry workshop. You can see it produces and consumes gems. Maybe it's one of these. So here's the jewel crafting table. You can turn gem ore into gems. Here's the blast furnace. Oh, let's scroll in a little bit here because we're getting our thing cut off. I'm not seeing gem ore on here anywhere, so I'm actually not sure where that would come from. Maybe it comes from, doesn't come from the mint. Doesn't come from the artist's workshop. Yeah, I'm actually at a loss for that one. I have no idea where you'd even get gem ore. Either way, we can't support this diamond, this jewel crafting family, so we're just gonna go ahead. We're gonna not accept them, and they're gonna have to live with that. It is nice though that the artisans are asking to live in our town. That means that like our standard of living, it like at least looks high enough from their point of view that they're thinking about trying to stay here. If only we had sort of the infrastructure set up to support them. We will get there eventually. But for now, we're gonna have to decline their presence. And the thing is, like, you actually don't have to do that. Like, I could have accepted them and built them a house and just let them live there and given them like I could have even changed their thing to like, oh well, you can't do it with the house, I guess. But I could have just like given them money every time they like got broke to like support them, just to keep them in town. But I mean, at that point, they're just a drain on resources for what, having a jewelry workshop in like a year and a half when we finally get the infrastructure set up. I don't think so. I think we're going to be fine. I am genuinely curious though. Where the heck gem ore comes? Oh, it is here. I'm so stupid. Under produces is the second from the bottom. It goes gold ore, coal, gem ore, clay. It does come from the mining fields. So once we get a mining field set up, we'll be looking a little better there. Or at least on our way, because they also needed a lot of ingots, and those are coming from the furnace. But I mean, it's straight from the mining field. Here's all the ores to the furnace, from ores to ingots. So that's only two people away, two families away, and that also will lead us to the forge. So it goes mining into the furnace, into both the jewelry workshop and the forge, and mining also goes into masonry. So there's like branches of these production chains that are possible. And look at this. You can even see over here that this family is indeed taming. There's one sheep that they tamed, two sheep that they tamed, and this is great because if they're taming them, then they are not. Look at that. They tamed it, but it's all the way over here. If they're taming them, then they're not buying them from the caravans, which means their money is staying in my economy and not getting leached out. And that is just ideal. Look over here. So we have another fishing family. I think I actually do want to accept this new fishing family, just because they're going to like pump just like this fishing family. It only has 2 people. And like, if we look at their accounting reports, we can see that like last season they produced, 232 fish is like not bad, but you also got to consider that we have a population of 40 currently, and we just accepted a 4-person family, so we'll call it a population of 36 before, but like that's not even 10 fish per person per season. Like, that's basically nothing, right? If I'm doing my math right. I'm pretty bad at math, so tell me in the comments if I'm dumb and I got that equation wrong. But yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and just pretend that I'm right, and we're gonna not question. Actually, I want to put them on this side of the river, but I kind of want to save this area for my sort of Demesne family over here. So maybe I'll stick them down. Yeah, I'll stick them down here by these guys. This is perfect. Actually, we'll stick them right here. Right here? Yeah, we'll stick them right here. You could see it's kind of hard to see sometimes like in the like zone build thing, but I'm trying to line it up so that all the stuff I sort of have in like this like porch area sort of pre-built in the template won't get stuck in the river. But I think that looks pretty fine. We're gonna go ahead and assign this for free to the Fairclaw family. So they get to live there for free, and then we'll go ahead and make them a fishing pool right here. And I kind of like the idea of giving them like a little bit of a bridge going on right here. And then there are 4 of them, right? There are 4 of them. So I like the idea of giving them 4 fishing rods. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 4 fishing nets. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll give them a few small barrels over here to store the fish in, because you can see here, if you look at small barrel, it stores acorns, blueberries, corn, fish. So this is the proper storage for them. We'll pop a storefront for them right here. That looks good. And then we'll assign this to them for our regular 20-10 resource ratio split between us and the clergy. Again, the clergy resource won't be paid until we have a clergy, which is going to take a while. There's really no point in even setting one up until you get a carpenter. But actually, one little optimization that I'm going to go ahead and throw in here real quick. We'll say that this will be the clergy area up here. And like we're gonna sort of be mixing areas a bit during this game. I think I have found done like the peasant area, the Demesne area, the clergy area, but I think that I want to actually try to like sort of like integrate my society a little bit more this game. So I mean, we'll keep the royals separate because like they're royal and like they need to maintain like an air of like. You know, like they can't get to know the people because then the people are going to realize that they're just like them, and they're going to realize that maybe they shouldn't be like the richest folks in town, and then they're going to start a revolution, and we don't want that. So we'll keep them separate, but everybody else I kind of want to be a little bit more like mixed in with their neighbors and the clergy and everybody else. So we're going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to actually set up all these bridges here because I think that like this like river nexus, I don't even know what you call it, where these two rivers meet, intersection, I guess, is probably going to be like maybe like the center of our society, especially if we're going to have like the royals here, some like peasants and like public areas over here, like the clergy kind of up here. And actually there's just a lot of land up here, so like we could probably fit the clergy up there. And then like this can probably be like a lot more like farmland. Honestly, like we can maybe do like let's plan this out. So maybe we can do like the hunting area over here, and then have like the hunters, the butchers, the tanners, and the leather workers sort of like all in a line, right? Because you're going to get like the animals from the hunters, the butchers are going to produce the meat and the hide, the tanners are going to turn that hide into leather, and the leather workers are going to turn that leather into like boots and whatever else. So that's sort of like a production chain that we do want to get up and running at some point. And we can maybe stick them over here. I think that, because we only have 2 mountains, right? We have this one and this one. So maybe we can sort of make this over here like our mining, smelting, masoning area, like, yeah, mining, masoning, smelting, furnace. Like we can maybe like set that sort of production line up over on this side. And then we'll put like the carpenters and builders, like maybe like right here, sort of like in a centralish, because they're going to need to be going to everybody's buildings to like build stuff for them. Oh, and look at this over here. We have building not reachable. Oh, that's just because they're going to complain about that because the bridges aren't built yet. But when they build the bridges, they're going to they're going to reach those eventually. So we can ignore these inaccessible structures, building not reachable messages for now. And look at this right here. We have a trash pile. Oh, belongs to Bridgerton. I think I noticed that in the last video too. I think it's just because my stinking my laborers are like still working on like construction orders for like building these rooftops here, and they're kind of ignoring like the like prioritization of like other things that they could be doing, such as like bringing these trash piles into like storage units over here. And I do wish that like I could set the priority on that, but the only thing that you can really set priority on is like build orders. Like I can say like, oh, this is currently priority 51. I want to change that to priority 1. So they'll build that piece of roof like first, but it doesn't really matter. So look at this over here. So we have foragers and millers. Now, as I said before, the millers would be useless without without some rope, because we can't build the windmill without 2 rope. And it looks like we don't have any rope, which is unfortunate because I would like to actually start getting the production chain set up, because we go from windmills into bakeries, because the windmills produce the flour, right? Consumes grain here and produces flour, and the bakeries consume the flour to make the bread. And I would love to get that production chain up and running, but I just don't have the rope, and I don't want to accept the millers into town if they're just going to sit around doing nothing while I kind of like basically roll the dice on whether or not the caravans bring me some rope that I can buy. Now, this foraging family, on the other hand, a family size of 7. Now, so here's the question. Do we want... you know what? Actually, I do want to accept this family. I'm going to go ahead and do that. I think it's good to have, so like these very, very base like families, like foragers, fishers. Obviously you want as many farmers as possible, like, because the farmers will just like keep your population like cap like rising as long as you keep like building more farms and stuff. But like I think like generally like 2 foraging families is like sufficient to like keep like even a pretty big society of up to like, you know, like 150 people going. I'll be honest, I've never really got past the point in this game where I have more than like 150 people in a society, because population does get like kind of difficult to manage at that point. And you'll see when we hit the wintertime just actually how well we're managing this population, because people will start starving if you're not managing your economy well, if you're not managing your like food supply well. And I'm going to try my best to remedy that a little bit here. And let's actually see if we can pull this off. So let's go ahead and give this to the Russell family. These are my new foragers. We're going to give them a royal forest area like so. We'll let it border their St. Quinn's down here. We're going to adjust the priorities. We're going to leave these just as the way they were before. And yeah, we're not going to touch any of that stuff. But there are 8 of them, so I'm going to build them 7 of them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sawhorses. And the other thing that I want to do, so this is a little bit of a little bit of a tricky trick play here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to give them a royal forest over here. We'll make it 15 by 5. And we're going to change the tree management in here. So we're going to turn off all the trees except for the blueberry bush, right? And then we're going to prioritize only blueberries in this zone. And we're going to, so I know it says tree and we're building bushes, but like, I guess the game counts a blueberry bush as a type of tree. So we're going to just put a few lines of trees here, and we're going to assign this to the Russell family. And we're going to give it the regular 20-10 split. And what they're going to do is they're going to come over here, they're going to plant a bunch of blueberry bushes. Oh, and we got to give this to them too for the regular 20-10 split. They're going to plant a bunch of blueberry bushes, and it's probably too late in the autumn right now for these blueberry bushes to like yield any results this year, because we're 7th day of autumn, and there's like I guess 8 days left until like the season changes into winter, and then nothing's going to grow. And actually looking around, I actually don't even see any blueberry bushes in our existing forests here. So I might even come down here and just for like a season turn on blueberry bush for these two zones just so they can pump a few blueberry bushes into their zone. Just because like if we want to keep this this priority of them producing blueberries on. Actually no, look at that. They did produce 77 blueberries last season, so I'm not actually sure. Okay, no. Okay, here we go. Okay, they do have blueberry bushes. Okay, let me go ahead and change that real quick. But I was afraid that they would try to buy the blueberries from um, yeah, they have blueberries up here too. That they were trying to buy the blueberries from the caravans if they couldn't like get them from the zone themselves. But it looks like they are. And oh yeah, look at that. We can even see we even have some in our own inventory here. And something to remember. I don't think I really stressed this enough in either of my previous two videos. But what is in your inventory is not available to the whole town. That is available for your royal family and your laborers to build what they want to build and do what they want to do. Each family has its own inventory, and you can like you can see here. Like, let's go ahead and take a look at the St. Ovens. Like their inventory. They have a lot of stuff. Look at that. They got like, well, they're running the inn, so they're going to have like beer and mead barrels. They have like a lot of food again because they are running the inn, so they need it. They actually don't have any blueberries, interestingly. They would be the ones producing them. They probably use them all to make these meals. But yeah, you could sort of like take a look at look at that. They're actually doing really good on money. We might actually go in and tax the inn because they're making so much money right now. In fact, let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and come in here. We're going to change this to a fee farm, and we're not going to tax them too much. We're going to raise this a little bit over time. But let's go ahead and just do like 50 silver. I'm not actually sure how the money works in this game. I'm not sure if it's 50, if it's like 100 silver is 1 gold and 100 copper is 1 silver or not. I'm actually really not sure what the split. Let's see actually real quick if it's in here. Maybe market. Okay, it is. Okay, so yeah, so copper, 100 of those is 1 silver, and 100 of those is 1 gold. Okay, got it. Oh, look at this. Okay, so we have our first carpentry family here. We're definitely going to go ahead and accept them. They are going to be building us like nicer buildings. And I think we said we wanted to put them like right over here. So let's go ahead and do that. And so I've been using my template here, basic house small or basic good house straw. You can name your templates whatever you want. I have dumb names because I wasn't expecting to be like recording YouTube videos when I first started playing this game. But anyway, I've been using like basic house small for like most of mine, except for like with the bigger families, they get basic house good straw. But now that we have our carpenters, I'm going to start using small house carp, this template that I have. And what it is it's basically the same as like all my other houses. We're going to go ahead and do it just like this, except instead of hay walls, it's using wooden walls. And you can see here wooden walls require carpenter, but they have 2 like star pretty like beauty value points, whereas hay walls only have 1 star average beauty value points. You can also see that hay walls are breathable, and wooden walls are absorbing. So these are going to keep your citizens just a little bit warmer in the winter time. And people can freeze to death in this game. So you do need to be a little concerned about temperature in the wintertime. It's honestly not super hard to manage. Like really, as long as you give like each family like a campfire, and as long as they have firewood to keep that campfire going, they will survive the winter. Like I've never had a citizen in like just like a hay house with like hay ceilings die because of not having because of like as long as they've had a campfire, they've stayed alive. But you can see here it's the same thing with the roofs too, right? You can see that the thatched roof, which requires straw, is breathable. The board roof, which requires a carpenter and is beautiful, is absorbing. So this is going to keep your people just a little bit warmer in the winter time. Let's go ahead and assign this to our carpentry family. And you can see here, it sort of has this sort of pale blue hue to it. Anything with a pale blue hue requires carpentry to build. And when we assign it, it should go pretty quickly because they are the carpenters. Oh, actually, you know what it is? They don't have a carpentry workshop yet. So let's go ahead. I also have a template for that. Where is it? Carpentry small. We're just going to go ahead and put this right here. And we're going to go ahead and assign this to the Laurie family. We're going to keep this at our regular 2010 split. So the only thing that they're really going to produce, and yeah, see, so when it goes dark blue like that, that means that like the orders have been accepted by a family that can build them, and now they're in that family's build queue. So what's interesting going to happen over here now is as we start building new things for our Demesne family, it's not actually going to be our laborers doing the building because they're not carpenters. It's going to be the carpenters doing the building. Now, I think I played with this way back when I first started playing this game, and I don't think it works, but I think that if you because remember, you can take any villager from any family and you can make them your servant. But I don't think that if you take like carpenters and make them your servants, I don't think that they're going to be doing the carpentry for you. I think you still have to hire a carpentry family to do it, which I think I could be wrong about that. If that's the way it works, I would feel like maybe that should be different. Either way, what I'm doing here is when I rebuild buildings, I usually start with the corners. So you can see here my laborers will go in. They're gonna tear down the corners of these walls, and then the carpentry family will come in and they'll build these wooden walls here instead. And I'm just gonna sort of slowly like they're gonna be busy building up their own little area up here for a little while. But I'm just going to sort of slowly, like every time I look over here and I see like, oh, these walls are built, I'm going to sort of slowly like encroach more better walls and further places. Now, we're in a bit of a pickle here because we have this farming family. They're pretty small and they want to come live with us. But here's my thing is we're almost at winter time. And by the time they get themselves like built up and set up, it's going to be, if not already in winter, it's going to be winter. And then they're not going to produce any food for a whole, honestly, season and a half. And you'll see when we get into it, like once winter ends, the farms won't start actually outputting food until about halfway through spring. So you really, by the time you get to winter, you need enough food floating around your economy to support all of your people for like a season and a half. And I'm hesitant to accept this family when I know that they're not going to be producing any food, but they're going to be consuming it for a full season and a half before they start producing. And farmers tend to show up pretty often, so I'm actually going to go ahead and reject them. I know in the last video I said that like I have this sort of rule of thumb, like always accept farmers, but I lied. I lied to you, because actually always accept farmers, except when it's already winter and you know that they're going to sit there for a season and a half and not like give you anything. And in fact, unless you're like really confident of your like how much food you have floating around your economy, I would be hesitant to accept basically any family going into the winter, or at pretty much at any point, but like from like halfway through autumn until like the end of winter, because like a family will come in with like like food and a little bit of money, enough to support themselves for like maybe half a season, maybe a little bit longer. So if you accept them like here at the top of the year, like at the end of winter, they can probably support themselves till about halfway through spring, when the farms start outputting food again. And don't get me wrong, like I know the fishers will constantly output food, but like we looked at, like the fishers are not producing that much food, right? So it's going to be it really does come down to the farms to like really like pull the weight of like supporting your society, like in terms of like providing them with food. The fishers more, I think, serve to provide a type of meat that they can use to make higher tier meals rather than like producing like quantities and quantities of food, right? Although to be fair, I did run a village one of my previous runs where like I had a river like this, and it was just like fishing family. There were like 7 fishing families. I was basically doing with the what I say I do with the farmers, with the fishers, where I just always accepted them, and I did have like a ridiculous amount of fish. So it is possible to get fish in like ridiculous quantities, but you need to have like 7 fishing families for that to happen. And I realized that like Ain't worth it. Ain't worth it. I am noticing down here that these guys are not like building up their stuff, and it says it's because the building family doesn't have the required material. Now, I haven't been doing this so far yet in this game because I've been kind of like wanting to showcase how like the economy will like fulfill its needs on its own. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to come here into the warehouse book, and what's this family again? These are the fair claws. I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to go to the fair clause, and I'm just going to go ahead, I'm going to go ahead and just give them some stuff. So, like, they want 1 clothes. I have 46 clothes. I'm going to give them 1. They want 28 wood, and that's probably to build that bridge. So I'm just going to go ahead and give them that so that they build the bridge. And how many planks do they want? So they want 63 planks. Is that for the bridge? No, they do want wood for the bridge. Oh, they probably want planks for all these. I mean... That's like 2, 4, 6, 9 planks. Yeah, I mean, when you add all this stuff up, there's another 12. When you add all the stuff up that they need planks for, here's another 4, here's another 4. They probably do need like 63 planks. But luckily, I mean, I'm out of planks, actually. Why am I out of planks? Oh, probably because I'm building all these... No, those are wood rods. And over here, you can see I'm actually building... I'm not using hay roofs. I'm using plated roofs, wood rods. It's just part of the template that I set up when I built this. It honestly doesn't really matter, because it's just a warehouse. Like it doesn't need a roof. You know, like the standard one they give you doesn't have a roof. What are all these trash piles? This belongs to Laurie. Who's the Laurie family? Oh, they're the stinking. Oh, because they can't. They're not building the stuff because they can't get up there because these wooden bridges are not being built. I'm so stupid. I kept looking up at there and being like, when are they going to get to it? Let's go ahead and just prioritize those and hope that my laborers get there. The other thing that you can do, because like sometimes your laborers, like they're super dumb, and they don't get to like, I'm going to go ahead and just get rid of all these. I know that there's too many trash piles. I know a bunch of structures are inaccessible. It's going to be fine. So we'll take a look at these families here in just a second, but what I wanted to talk about here real quick is so like getting this bridge built. It will come down to my laborers to build it because it's outside of any zone owned by another family. If I didn't really trust my laborers to get there quickly, because like I said, they can be pretty annoying. What I could do is I could take like this household and just like edit this zone and like give it to them, and then they would probably go build it pretty quickly because for some reason the villains are like way better about that. Probably because they just have like smaller, more condensed areas to work in. But I'm not going to do that. I do want to, like I said, I kind of want to, like, I like to sort of see how this game like runs, how it's supposed to run without like me like manipulating things constantly. Even though like that's half the game, but anyway, I'm gonna wait and see how long it takes the laborers to get there, unless it takes too long, like another day basically. So let's take a look. So we have the coin making family over here. Now we know that we're not going to be able to accept them because they need all these ingots, silver. See, they consume silver ingot, bronze ingot, gold ingot, and transmuted gold. And we know that we can't get ingots until we have a furnace set up. And in order to get a furnace set up, we need a mining field set up. So like they're like 3 families down a production chain, and we just can't support them. So we're gonna go ahead and reject them. Now a brewing family is interesting. Usually what I do is I have the brewing family run the inn. And this is a pretty good one too. It's a 6-size brewing family. I am actually pretty tempted to accept them. Hold on, let me decide later. Let's do just a quick little math here. So we have a population of 52. So usually I would want about 10 farming plots set up and work to support that population. So we know we have 7, and by farming plots I mean like 6x6 areas of farms. Like this farm here, like this one farm has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-ish 6x6 areas of land worked. And this one down here has another 4. These are 5x5, but like whatever. Has another 4 and 4, so that's 8. So we do have about 15 farming plots like up and running and like currently producing food. 15 times 5 is like 75. 5, I want to say. So I think that we actually can support a bit more population than we have here, like just a bit more. You also got to remember that these farms are also feeding everybody in the inn, so it's kind of like it's. So I'm not saying that like each farming plot can support like 5 people. It actually goes a little bit more than that because you're supporting the caravans and the inn as well, like you're feeding them. But since it's kind of hard to calculate how many visitors you have in your town at any given time, I kind of just go off of just the population here. I just wanted to like let you all know, like this is a very, very inexact science that I'm participating in here. But I do, and the thing is, I know I just said like don't accept any families like right before winter, and it is right before winter. I'm pretty tempted to accept them. No. We will have another chance to get a brewing family. We need to make it through the winter, so let's just go ahead and just speed up, and we're just gonna make it through the winter. And in fact, I think the way that we're gonna play this is once we get to like tax payment day, we'll call that the end of the episode, and we'll make winter just its own. We'll make getting through winter the next episode. And in fact, look over here. You can already see we have one. Keep an eye out for this symbol right here, because when you see this symbol, one of your villagers is starving, and that's going to be bad news for you. I always know that it's a bad sign when one of my farmers is starving because they should be able to feed themselves. Let's go ahead and take a look at. Let's go ahead and take a look at this family here. So this family they have plenty of money. They have plenty of food. So there's no reason that this farmer... Oh, they might be starving because... No, they don't have the flu. Interesting. Why are you starving? It is J Guernin farming. Oh, so this is interesting. So this happens sometimes. So you could see like he's stuck making butter, but clearly he's like laying in bed. This is a glitch that I've run into before. I think what's going on here is like, okay, I think I see what's going on. Maybe I think he's sort of like stuck. Yeah. Something was going on there where he was stuck making butter from this bed, but he couldn't get out because this wall was in the way. And you can see he's like trying to do something here. There you go. Okay. So he wasn't starving because we're running out of food. He was starving because he was like glitched, stuck trying to make butter on this churn right here, like in bed somehow. Anyway, okay. We figured that out, and I think that situation is going to resolve itself. This symbol right here, there you go. Look at that. It went away already. And actually, let's talk about these real quick. So, like, recently had a bad meal. You could see that, like, these are my my Demesne people. That just means that they're eating normal meals, and that's like a tier below what they would want to be eating. And in fact, we can even try to figure out why. Like, let's take a look at the food. So, normal meals are only 2 ingredient categories. So, like, vegetables and fruits. So we have vegetables and fruits. They're clearly able to make normal meals, but good meals require meat or grain. So they do have meat, and then made or animal products. Now, milk, eggs, honey, butter, cheese, all this stuff. They actually don't have any of that stuff. So that's probably why they're not able to make the good meals, because they don't have any made or animal products. Now, we do have those farms down there producing butter and milk and probably cheese. So they probably should be able to, like, when the tax payment day comes over, and they get some of those made animal products, they probably should be able to start producing some more good meals. Actually, we'll see. Let me just double check the accounting report here. They are making butter, they are making cheese, and they are making eggs and milk, which I believe all are made in animal products. Milk, eggs, butter, and cheese. Yeah. So when we get these in taxes, and we won't get much. We're getting 1 butter, no eggs. We're getting 4 milk, and no cheese. Let's check this farm over here. And it's the same thing. Actually, these folks aren't even producing. Is it because they have no cattle? That's why they're not producing any of that stuff. And they have no chickens either. So this farm isn't even just straight up is not producing like those made or animal products that are part of like the like ingredients for a good meal. These ones are, but we're not getting that much. So basically, this symbol is just going to stay there for a while until we can start producing those things in higher quantities. But now that we're I was gonna say we're running low on food, but like we're not, and and like we just looked at, we're really not going to be able to make good meals anytime soon anyways. What I was going to do is I was thinking about promoting one of these laborers to a cook, but and then they'll start because like until we have a cook, this food won't get used to start making meals. Right now we're just consuming our existing stock of meals, but I really want my laborers to come take care of all these trash piles. I don't know why they're not. But and until they do, I'm gonna try to leave it at 3 laborers so that like whatever they think they're taking care of, like they will hopefully like take care of it and like get around like doing this. And I do love this game, how the seasons change. I mean, I'm just gonna go ahead and just hide the UI real quick, and actually hold on, let's hide those. Hide the UI. Just how pretty, like just look at this, like the trees changing, like slight snow on the ground. Like we're not in winter yet, but as the Starks say, winter is coming, and it'll be pretty darn cool when it gets here. And by cool, I do mean cold, and my villagers will complain about it. So we're still looking, all of our stuff over here is inaccessible structures and too many trash piles. And actually what's interesting and what's a little dangerous is like all of these bridges that I'm like not building are going to keep popping up with like these inaccessible structure, like notifications over here. And when somebody gets like stuck, like this guy got stuck on the bed, it's going to get buried in like those notifications, and like we're going to run into a risk of somebody getting stuck and like starving, like almost happened to there, which is another reason why it's kind of important to like keep an eye out for that starving symbol up here, because sometimes it is not a food problem, it's like a little glitch problem like that. I am pretty concerned. Look at this is funny. They're literally going all the way around to build this bridge starting on this side. I'm gonna go ahead and change the priorities over here for them, because they're doing it dumb, and that's just like just making me angry, you know what I mean? And there, that'll connect the two sides, and they can stop wasting their time running literally like, I don't know how long. That's got to be like a mile, maybe. I don't know. It's hard to judge distance in this game, but we'll call it like quarter of a mile there, quarter of a mile back down. Anyway, we are almost at winter and tax payment day. I think that's going to be today. Yeah, 1 day of winter. So here we go. So this is tax payment day. So all of our villains are going to come over. They're actually going to come to this warehouse now. Let's see if we can see them come over here. And yeah, you could see some people coming over and depositing stuff in my barrels and everywhere. They're paying their taxes because they're good little citizens. We have a masoning family asking to stay with us, but again, until we get the miners set up, we can't really make use of the masons. So we're going to go ahead and reject them. So the royal deliveries updated. If you're playing with the settings that I have, you can actually ignore this. Normally, there would be another button down here for like royal taxes that you have to pay to the royals. So, like your villains pay taxes to you, and you pay taxes to the royals. That's one of the features that I turned off for this run through, just because I like I said, like I wanted to do sort of an easier run through where we sort of showcase just like the economy of the game, because the royal taxes will sort of force you to like grow really quickly, or like they'll try to, because they'll start demanding resources that you just don't have, and so you'll have to like start like requesting families for them, and they actually, with the royal tax system, it does make favor points a little easier to get, so you kind of can like sort of like manage your families a little bit more, but then like you also have to like constantly be getting farmers to grow. It's a whole thing. It's a much more hectic way of playing the game, and like just for this first like YouTube run through that I'm making, I kind of wanted to do like a more like chill sort of like, this is what the game looks like. Hopefully if I get an audience for this, I will like make a video with some of those more difficult like modules turned on, but that being said, I think we're gonna call this the video. The next one, we're probably just gonna like speed through winter as quickly as possible and deal with problems as they pop up, but I think that's gonna do it. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll leave me smash the like button, comment, and subscribe.